It takes a lot more than kindness and compassion to be a good partner. Some people fall into the too nice trap as well, where they are kind and compassionate but they don't always prioritize their partners since they are so busy helping or supporting others. After being a partner for a while, many people start to think of their partner as almost a part of themselves. So when they would put someone else's needs ahead of their own, they now put other people's needs ahead of yours, and think they're doing good. This can make otherwise compassionate, kind etc. people really frustrating to be with. My ex would give the shirt off her back to a stranger in need. She would give food from our table to a hungry neighbor. She would come home from work to go help a friend do physical labor. This meant that I would be left to buy her a new shirt, pay for extra groceries, and be left to do our own physical chores on my own. And I would be yelled at if I tried to explain to her that we had to care for ourselves before we could care for others. The kindness and compassion that made me fall in love with her ended up breaking our relationship. Lack of communication and emotional intelligence. I dated a guy like this for 18 months. Super kind and compassionate, we had a great time on dates, but he avoided conflict and emotional connection at all costs. My ex was very kind and compassionate, and also selfish, emotionally immature and addicted to the attention and validation of other people. She cared about me a lot, we had fun together, great conversations, intimate moments, exciting holidays, but in the end constantly having to adapt to how she expected me to be to fit her ideal picture of the world just broke me up. There's a lot more in a romantic partner I need than just kindness and compassion. Have we gone through the same thing, lol? Well, speaking from some experience here, I'm a huge commitment phobe and am pretty insecure, low on self-esteem. You can extend your love outward very easily, but accepting it for yourself and letting someone in can be very scary. I was about to type this. I have a huge heart, am really compassionate, sensitive and empathetic to those around me, even those I dislike. I've chosen a career based on caring. But I'm incredibly insecure and retreat into myself at the first whiff of trouble in all relationships. There's a part of me that fundamentally doesn't understand that being a good partner means allowing yourself to be vulnerable and open. I'm a terrible partner, but I'm super kind and compassionate. Kind doesn't always mean compatible. Relationships sometimes require harshness, endurance, and listening. Being kind doesn't guarantee a partner. Someone who is kind but also has poor boundaries and is maybe codependent, so they don't prioritize their partner but spend their time and maybe money helping other people. Our lifestyles and relationship styles were incompatible. We didn't share enough common interests and our senses of humor didn't align. Good person, but I didn't enjoy his company. There are plenty of good people who I find more fun and interesting to be around. Agree. Kind, yes, maybe as a friend I could keep all these kind guys, but if our core values and plans didn't align, we'd just be terrible romantic partners for each other. I've met kind guys who want kids, want church marriage, boot I don't. They'd make bad romantic partners because we'd be so incompatible. Also, side note, also heaps of kind guy friends who were lovely but just as friends. Like I felt more like I'd prefer them to be a brother to me, not a romantic partner. Absolutely. Kind and compassionate don't make someone care, or show that care in ways you can understand. It doesn't negate selfishness. It doesn't negate poor priority management. Being kind and compassionate doesn't mean the person has the emotional bandwidth to be a good partner. Being kind and compassionate is no more an indicator of a good partner than humor and sarcasm are. Fantastic response. Also, all of the reasons I'm currently in the process of divorcing my very kind husband. You can be kind and compassionate but have commitment issues, attachment insecurities, trauma, bad luck, etc. People are complicated and multifaceted. Mental health issues can run strong and deep. Sometimes it takes all we have to navigate these rapids, which doesn't leave much capacity for us to guide or work with others in their own boat facing their own perils. I've always loved my husband, I've always wanted to be kind and caring and compassionate with him. But we were both facing our own traumas with worse than no experience. we had both been led by people who ultimately drowned in their own issues. In our struggle to meet our own needs, we weren't exactly capable of meeting each other's. It was not until I took care of my own mental health issues and built my own strength, that I was capable of holding my own ground in our relationship, in a healthy way rather than the toxic channels I had learned from my family. Once I found that, I was able to help facilitate peace and communication and support him in healing from his own childhood traumas. Once we were able to communicate, I could be more available romantically and vice versa. Once we could meet our own needs better, we could better navigate each other's. So many reasons. They may have codependency issues, and this can coincide with a lack of confidence and clarity. They can resent the imbalance in giving. Sometimes givers are impossible to keep up with. You may have completely different visions for your lives. They may not check you on your BS. Oh, I've seen plenty of this in relationships. Spending your time with other people, carrying them. Harry was lonely, so I asked him to join our date night. The opposite of the always inviting is the always leaving. Harry asked me to mow his lawn, and then I will help Andy pick up blah blah blah. See you at 11 p.m. Loving to flirt. Loving to connect with everyone on a deep level. I would not like my man to spend his nights out talking to girls, holding their hand and hugging them as his main activity. Edit. I got two more. Being really dominant and forcing your kindness on someone. You look exhausted, I'll grab you a drink and a bit to eat. And the runoff is forcing your food and drink choice on someone. Taking over everything. Let me carry your bag, you don't know how that works? I'll look into it. This one is a slow poison, because it removes opportunities to grow as a person. It's hard to become independent or confident if your only solution is calling your partner. Communication is one of the main reasons they can still be a bad romantic partner. Kindness and compassion don't mean sexual compatibility, chemistry, and romance. My friends are kind and compassionate, but I don't want to fuck them. My best friend is this type of person. She's a wonderful friend, but sometimes it's frustrating because I'd like to spend time with her or talk to her about an issue I'm having and she's too busy rushing around helping other people. She also has a tendency to latch onto random people she meets whose lives are a mess and makes it her personal project to help fix things for them. She'll get so engrossed with this person, spending every day with them, and forgets about family and friends. It's affected her dating life in the past because she constantly puts her partners on the back burner to go help out other people. She's got a huge heart and just wants to help, but it's somewhat of a hindrance. Trying to fix or save other people is a surefire recipe for disaster. It will only end in disaster. You can be kind and compassionate while also being terrible at communication or a sexually impulsive deviant. I'm bad at being a lover, good at being a friend. Being a partner requires more than kindness and compassion. I think it has to do with issues they have with their parents that they don't have the courage to address. They just project it on someone that triggers them. Usually a spouse or so. Pretty much the answer is, if you're not attracted to them. And I don't just mean looks. Maybe they're kind and compassionate but very boring. Maybe they're kind and compassionate to a fault and let people walk all over them. Maybe they're kind and compassionate but also really negative about themselves all the time and not enjoyable to be around. There are a lot of reasons they could be a good person but not someone I'd want to date. I was reading through the comments and waiting for this. At the end of the day, a good romantic partner has to attract you at some level. Excite you to want to be physically intimate with them. A good long-term partner has to be so much more, but without that excitement, and the fulfillment of it, you're effectively living with a great wonderful sibling. I mean, children and dogs are kind and compassionate, but they make bad romantic partners. Sometimes illegal romantic partners. I think a lot of guys make fantastic friends but bad romantic partners. Something in their brain short circuits when it comes to intimacy. I feel you. Yes, there are people like this. Kindness and romance are not the same. It is really frustrating to live with such a person. Insecurity about themselves or what they want, maybe not knowing how to save like they feel or poor experience at this. The list is long. Don't know, but my ex was a fantastic friend but the shittiest boyfriend. They just might have a different idea of what is romantic.